Cain Stevens.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Cain Stevens Lost and Found podcast, or Lost and Found with Cain Stevens, however you want to look at it. So we got an action-packed show for you once again. And, let's just blast right off into it a little bit here. I do want to talk and start, in the beginning here about my prior episode. I had done a Christian news on a Christian business owner who had refused to give a gay couple or I believe they're a lesbian couple business due to their moral ground, and it had gone all the way to the Supreme Court, and I believe that the Supreme Court had ruled in their favor. With that being out there, I gave my commentary on it, and like all commentaries, I know going into it that some people aren't going to agree with what I have to say, and that's okay. Some people who contacted me, but people did make me see the light a little bit on. I do understand. Okay, let's be clear. I do understand if you are making a moral stand for your religion, for what you believe. I do understand that you shouldn't have to go against your beliefs in order to give somebody business. However, it's all about what's in your heart, okay? And that's what I want to make clear to everybody. At the end of the day, when you're by yourself and you're alone with your thoughts and God, and it's all about what's in your heart. If you have hate in your heart and that's why you're doing it, then I say you're wrong. If you have the best of intentions and you're doing it for your moral beliefs on what you believe the scripture is saying, then I say, you do what you have to do, and I agree with you. But I just want to clear that up, and I just want to thank those who are listening. If I turn some of you off on that particular commentary, so be it. That's the nature of it. But I really do enjoy all of you, and I enjoy this podcast more than I've enjoyed any podcast I've done thus far, because I just want to make a difference with one person at a time. If I can change your mind or help you or anything, you're welcome to message me at all times, and I would be glad to talk to you. That goes for atheists, doubters, anybody. Remember, I too was lost, and I was found by God. Or really, I found God because God was always there with me. So I can give you my testimony if you'd like, and hopefully it helps you. So we got that out of the way. We're gonna do a little bit of Christian news. All right, so this one out of FoxNews.com. I was just grazing through, and I didn't choose this particular news site for any reason, although they do have some good stuff on there sometimes. So FoxNews.com, this said 2 in 5 Americans, nearly half of Christians, believe we are living in end times, says a poll done by, I'm sure we'll find out here soon. Let's see here. Evangelicals and black Protestants were most likely to say the apocalypse is imminent. A large swath of Americans across the religious spectrum believe they are living in the last days of humanity, a recent study showed. Nearly 2 in 5 Americans, including both Christians and the religiously unaffiliated, responded affirmatively when asked if they believe we are in the end times, according to a Pew research study published last month. The study addressed Americans' views regarding the earth, environmentalism, the climate change, but a specific portion addressed respondents on their views about the end of the world At 58%, a majority of respondents did not believe they were living in the end times, but approximately 4 in 10, or 39%, man, that's a lot of that's Steiner math for you there. If you watch wrestling, you'd know what I was talking about. So I do. so if you don't know what Steiner math is, just go to that famous Scott Steiner promo on you look it up on YouTube, and it'll give you a good laugh. But old Papa Pump giving us the old giving us one of the best promos ever. But anyways, okay. So most of those who believe the end is near were self-professed Christians, 47% of whom believe they are living in the last days. The study further broke down the statistics to determine that 14% of such Christians believe that the end of the world will culminate with the return of Jesus, and that the conditions of the world will worsen until then. Black Protestants, 76%, and evangelicals, 63%, were the most likely to believe that we are living in the end times. Yada, yada, yada. Mainline Protestants were at 31%. Roman Catholics were at 27%. They were likely to assert that they believe we're living in the last days. Let's see. Yeah, it says, that's a pretty good poll overall. Amongst those that adhere to non-Christian religion, nearly 3 in 10, 29% said they think the world is wrapping up. And if you ask me, and yeah, you can say what you want. If you ask me, look around, look at what's going on. There's all sorts of signs and things happening. We do not know. Okay, there is no. I had a spirited discussion with a Facebook friend who was talking to me about Nostradamus and the Nostradamus predictions on the end of the world. And I would say that about Nostradamus, me personally, this is my opinion, I would say that it seems that a lot of what Nostradamus was saying was very very vague. It could be taken in a lot of different ways to describe it. It's just like a 9/11 happened. Nobody's talking before about how, Nostradamus is predicting on, that something's going to happen on 9/11. And then afterwards, people say, we're looking at, it looks like he has something here. It looks like he predicted it the whole time. So, if we want to go off of that, or if we want to go off the logic of, The Simpsons, there's a big thing going around where The Simpsons have predicted everything. All of our major events, everything's kind of leading up to the end times. No, we don't know when the end times are. We can read through Revelations, and we should, if you're afraid, and I was for years. Read through Revelations, and it will be a revelation to you as to what will take place. And if you don't buy into any of that, then all I can say is I'll pray for you, and I hope that you're prepared, because as I always say, buckle up or buckle in. It's going to be a rough time. The roughest times throughout history, especially for non-believer and believers alike, So have yourself ready. I can't stress it enough. Read Revelations and ask yourself, am I ready? Am I going to stand with the right side of history? Am I going to finally accept the fact that, it just so happens that the Bible was right? Or are you going to side with, false Messiah and, the falsehoods that will come with, the Antichrist? And so you say what you want. It's up to you. Or if you want to live in the narrative that it's all just a fairy tale. And trust me, I lived that way for years as a doubter. And that is definitely your prerogative, but I hope that maybe a show like this or anything can kind of sway you in another way. If it doesn't, we tried. I would love to talk to you. So there's your Christian news for this episode. I hope you. So apparently, people are feeling it. People are really starting to believe that we are in the end times here, and the world's on fire right now. And if you don't see it, turn on the news, watch it, watch the way people act around you. Go out in public and see how people act. We're living in a different world, everybody. So, all we can do is pray and get ready. So, all right, well, now we're gonna move on to something else. I had the meat, cheese, and bones, like I always say, the crux of what we're going to do here. This episode is going to kind of be on spiritual warfare, and there's a reason for that. I had something that this week that just chilled me to the bone, had me getting a hold of my friends who are preachers and asking them about it. So I'll just and I don't think I'm going to find this one in the Dream Book. That if you listen to my other podcasts that I had been doing, the Cain Stevens Paranormal Super Show, go back and there's a Dream Book that I would take ridiculous notions out of from this old book from the 70s that I got at a garage sale, and it would tell you interpret your dreams. So I maybe I'll look it up. I don't know. Interpret this dream though. So. So in my dream, and I do have a lot of night terrors, and I do have a lot of dreams that are not good, and who knows why. I mean, maybe it's an act of imagination. Who understands dreams? I don't know, but this one shook me to the core. So I have a dear friend, a lifelong friend. She had passed last year. And her brother is my best friend for years. And she, in the dream, I was aware that she was deceased. Was in those where, there she is. Who knows why she appeared. But she was just kind of like there, doing things around me, not really acknowledging me. And so I looked at her and I tried to get her attention, still nothing. Eventually I got her attention. And I asked, and she locked eyes, and I asked her. I said, "How are you doing? Where are you?" And she paused for a moment, and she locked eyes with me again, and she looked at me, and she said, "You should hang yourself." And man, I'll tell you what, in that dream, I was very aware of my surroundings for whatever reason, and I started praying in the dream, praying for the Lord to take me out of it, praying for the Lord to, protect me. And wouldn't you know, I woke up almost instantly after that, and I was shaken. I was up for a good couple more hours after that. It scared me. It was the content of it. It was the fact that I had not been, or had I prior thought about hanging myself, nor more or less just having someone you care about in a dream tell you that. So I asked my pastors, my friends that are pastors, both the same question, two of them, and I asked if they thought this was spiritual attack because of the content of it, because telling me to kill myself. And they both said with a resounding yes. They both talked about how, if it helps me, they get really awful dreams all the time, which is interesting to me. Men of God, the stuff that comes to them, but they too have personal attacks, and I think that it could be, the devil doing what the devil does. I think that it could be. It could be a spiritual attack on me, but I'm strong in the Lord, and I think the work I'm doing here is ticking off those powers that be, and I think that, I'm doing what I can to help out. I'm strapping in. I got the old, luchador mask on. The and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to fight. We got to buckle in and fight. And that is the most that is the best thing you can do right now. And by fight, I don't mean physically fight. I mean the fight is there though. Put your armor on for God and fight the good fight. If you see people downing God on this and that and everybody's laughing on, so just reach out to the people in a nice respectful way and talk to them and ask them why they feel that way, and if they're, try try to try to help them by swaying their opinion in a positive way. If anything, just stand up for what you believe, especially if they're berating you about it. A couple weeks ago, I did the episode where I offended the internet, and I posted those questions about why people don't believe in Jesus Christ and the resurrection and Christianity as a whole. And man, I got some interesting responses, some vile, some it brings out the ugliness. I say ugliness in people, and it's just really frustrating. So it made me want to be razor sharp with my answers. So I'm going to study, and I'm going to read. I'm going to read, and I'm going to read some more. And I'm going to study, and I'm going to watch things, and I'm going to dig into it so that I can have razor sharp answers, so that I don't sound like an idiot because I'm representing what I believe to be the highest of causes. So I would suggest you do the same. So, and it's not just that. I mean, the spiritual attack is everywhere. The spiritual attack is. I did a little not a survey, but I did a little bit of quote unquote research. Every day I wanted to see if it was true. Every day for the past 7 days or so, I had looked, and there has been something on regular TV. I'm by regular, I mean, be it the Hulu, or if you have Hulu Live or whatever, something on possession and a title, something with the devil in it or whatever, every single day on multiple channels. And it leads me to wonder what's up with Hollywood, what's up with Hollyweird and all this. I mean, like, what's with the content out there? Like, why is there so much of this content now, and why is it so accepted? To be honest with you, there's nothing that, I mean, I've watched horror movies and, paranormal stuff my entire life, been obsessed with it, right? Well, there's nothing that terrifies me except for the stuff that has to do with the devil and all that. I mean, like, I have, but I refuse to go back and watch The Exorcist all the way through. I don't like the content. I don't like, there's nothing about it that I find to be amazing. None of that stuff. It doesn't interest me. And I'm not your average everyday. I mean, I make mistakes, and I enjoy the slasher flicks. I've always liked Friday the 13th. I've always liked this. Oh, how can you? Oh my gosh, how can you be a Christian? And well, it is possible. It is. I probably shouldn't be watching it, but I'll be darned. I mean, I do watch this stuff. Anyone who knows me knows that I do, or that I have. And it's I like that. I don't know. It was always entertaining. It's different for me now that I'm going through more of a Christian journey in my life. To watch it doesn't hit the same. I mean, I have a Jason Voorhees tattoo on my arm. And we all make those. We can have I'll have a episode. I'll write it down here. A future episode on tattoos and Christians. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that ahead of time if I get a chance. on what you think. I mean, yes, there are many of you who won't and haven't ever, but for those of us who have, living the lifestyle we lived or whatever, for whatever reason, we got a bunch of tattoos. I don't think that God hates me for that. So, God is all love, and God realizes that we make mistakes, or that that some of it's not even a mistake. I mean, what if I get a no, let's say anything. What if I get the prayer hands or something, and or a giant picture of Jesus because I want to show him to the world, or this or that. I mean, does that make me wrong? I don't know. I mean, I'll have to. That's something that I will have to research and look into on what it says. I know our body's a temple of God, but I don't. Do I think I'm going to hell for having tattoos? No, I don't, because I've accepted and will willfully talk to any man that Christ came to our planet and died for our sins, and Jesus is King of Kings. I'm okay with that. I know. I feel comfortable in it. I've been baptized. All of this stuff. So, however you want to, I'm getting off on a tangent here, but that's what we do, right? So, anyways, that's kind of my. There's a spiritual attack going on everywhere. It's in our. It's in, and I was blind to it before, but it's in our music. It's in our movies. It's in the things that we fill our head with, and it's a lot of it is trash. I hate to say it, but it is. So now give me your thoughts on that. That's my commentary on spiritual attack. So speaking of what I've been watching, let's do a new segment here that we're going to go ahead and call
What's He Watching?
All right, the show I've been watching is The Chosen. I think you can get it off of the website for free. I think the new season's coming out here this month sometime. But man, it's blowing me away. Like I was just saying not too long ago about how I would love to have some good quality historical type of Christian content to watch, and boom, this kind of just like appeared to me through ads and everything else, because it's a big show, and I had heard about it before but had no idea how great it is. So if you haven't watched it, I'll give you my Peacock password, and I won't, but get it for yourself, and and go on there and watch the first couple seasons, even the first couple episodes, and then ask yourself, is this show great? I say it is. I mean, if I were to give it a rating thus far, I mean, I would definitely give it a solid 10 out of 10. I mean, I love it. I'm hooked. I'm hooked on it to the point where if I have some extra time, I want to go running to whatever room, which we have the TV in each room, but whatever room I'm in, so that I can watch some more. So I would highly suggest that you watch The Chosen, about the Gospels of Jesus and the the disciples, and it's just a really interesting look at it, and it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, it'll give you all the good feels, and just a heck of a show. So all right, that's what I've been watching. So now, given my I did an interview on a podcast called Testifying, and it's a local. It was not too long ago, but I just testified and gave my testimony on how I kind of came to God. And so if you haven't listened to it, find that on all streaming. Find it on YouTube, Spotify, etc., etc. It's with a host named Daniel, and he's just a really nice guy and a really good podcast, and it just seems like a really good person. So it was a great interview, but he was so gracious to when I asked if I could take a clip of it, that he said I could, he said go ahead. So he said, gave me all systems go on that. And so I'm going to play a clip from that, and I want you to give him some love for, all his work he's doing in the Christian community, where he has people on, and he interviews them and they testify. So with that being said, let's go ahead and listen to a little bit of clip of that. This is me talking about how I'm sure that God exists. So give it a shot.
Shout out to John if you're listening. But so I always ask, why should we believe in God? But I liked how my last episode, John, said we should change that to why shouldn't we believe in God? So why shouldn't we believe in God?
Why shouldn't we believe in God? That's a question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't really think of any reason why we shouldn't believe in God. If there's any doubt in your mind, if there is a God, I would invite somebody to hold their hand up, and I want you to look at it, and I want you to turn it around, okay? And I want you to look at every little intricacy just of your hand in general, okay? And you can see all the lines and all of the, your fingernail, all this stuff, and how amazing, just a simple hand is, or anything, look at anything in front of you and then ask yourself, what created that? What could create something with so much splendor and so much beauty, be it a pencil, be it whatever, I'm looking at my desk here, and it could be anything, and then ask yourself, is there a God? Is there somebody out there who created everything? And I think the answer is literally right in front of you.
Amen to that.
All right, so that was the interview with Daniel on the Testifying Podcast. So look it up. I believe my episode that I personally was on, if you want to check that one out, is is My Life Was Chaos. So that was about a month ago. So check that one out. It's a great podcast and a wonderful person. And do what you can to support the cause. He's a new YouTuber, podcaster with this particular podcast. So I hope you enjoyed that small clip from the interview. Now let's we're not going to get to random Bible reading today, but that's okay. What we are going to do, however, is drop a little biblical knowledge on you and drop a verse that has to do with spiritual attack and spiritual warfare. So
drop it like it's hot.
All right, so if I can use the old trusty book I got here. This one's an NASB Bible. It has my name on it, so that's always a cool thing. So it must be mine. We're looking for We're looking for Ephesians, and that's always a task with my chubby thumbs and and all that stuff. So it's the passage that I'm going to read out of here is going to be Ephesians 6:11. All right, so this in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11. It says, "Put on the full armor of God, that you may be able to stand firm against the schemes of the devil." So that's pretty strong, everybody, and that to me is what we need to do. We need to put on the armor now, and we need to fight back for God's sake, and just do what we can. So don't let the get that spiritual warfare going, and don't I'm having warfare with some acid reflux right now. So I'm also battling Teddy the Cockapoo, my co-host, him and I have been having some lengthy battles. He's won a few battles, I've won a few battles, and but I choose to win the war. So he keeps bringing his ball into the studio when I'm trying to do something, and I feel bad, because dogs are like little babies, and they get bummed out, especially if you have a Cockapoo or any poodle mix, or they're little babies, so they pout, and so Teddy always brings his little ball in here, and it's just small enough where I'll be darned if every single time I'm not playing ball with him, he takes his little dog arms and he once again he continues to hide the ball. So, and then he whines, and it's like I can't get anything done, so I have to take the ball away from him and shut him out, and I feel bad, and then I have to play ball with him later, of course, which is fine, I want to, but he just doesn't want to let me get anything done. So not just spiritual warfare, but warfare against your animals. Be mindful of that. So all right, well, that was the show for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I gave you some insight. If you are having spiritual warfare or spiritual attack, I would invite you to talk to people about it. Talk to your pastors about it, and just see what it all means. And maybe you'll get some great insight on that. I know that I did. So, all right, everybody. Well, thank you guys for listening to the show. This has been Lost and Found with Cain Stevens, and like always, it's been real. It's been fun. It's even been real fun at times. Other times, it's kind of up to you. So we'll see you on the other side. Goodbye.